Hello, my name is Michael McCarthy, and in this video we're going to be going over Autodesk 3ds Max Cat. 3ds Max Cat is a character animation toolkit for 3ds Max. You can do procedural rigging and animation with it. It's located in a couple of different places in the 3ds Max UI, so we're going to take a look at those now. The first place that you should look is under the Command Panel, Create tab, Helpers, and then the cat objects drop-down. Here you'll see cat parent, cat muscle, and muscle strand. Click on cat parent to create a new cat parent. You can either choose none, which will allow you to create an empty cat parent and create a custom rig, which we'll look at a little later, or you can choose one of the presets here. So we'll just pick this ape, or base human, maybe a crab, or even something that looks like the biped. You can see that you can get a lot of different forms out of the rigs. You don't just have to have a bipedal character or a quadruped. You can have something with many limbs or even something with a lot of extra bones that are associated with the rig itself. So I think I'm just going to remove all these guys really quick. So I'll click on cat parent again and just choose this alien and drag it out, size it to whatever I would like in the perspective view. Once I'm done creating characters, I'll just right click as always and go into the modify panel to kind of see what we have. Now when you have the cat parent selected, you can see that in the modify panel you have a couple of things that are associated with it, such as adjusting the size and specific axes to it. There's two different places where you can access functions of cat. One is going to be the modify panel, and the second location, and probably the main location, is going to be the motion panel. The motion panel is where you'll get all the information about animation with cat. Usually in the modify panel you'll get different information about the local settings of your specific bones or the cat parent. Cat has two specific modes that you can work in. One is setup mode and the other is animation mode. If we go over here to the motion panel, we'll see where this is indicated. Right directly under the layer manager you have this big red button at this point. This is going to indicate that you're in setup mode. This means that this is the time for setting up your character to fit your mesh or your liking, whether it's adjusting the arms so that they fit inside the mesh or the spine so that it has enough links or anything like that. We'll just do that a little bit in the front view here. And you can see that actually just by moving these things into place, there's a really nice stretchy bone system for setup mode, which allows you to arrange your bones very, very easily. So you can scale these different things and just kind of put them into position. Now when you're ready to animate your character, you need to go into animation mode. And usually you would do this by pressing this button. You need to have some sort of animation layer in order to do that. So we're just going to click here and choose an absolute animation layer. By adding this layer, it enables us to go into animation mode. So this means that we've set up our rig and it is to our liking as far as the size and scale of it, and probably ready to be or already been skinned. Now we're going to animate our character. So once we add in an animation layer, we can click on this button and we'll go into animation mode, which is indicated by having this play button playing. Now we can add any sort of animation to this guy. So we'll just go into Auto Key and click and drag around our character. So as we move these things around, you can see the IK solvers interacting and working, and you can see that there are keys being made for the character. None of these keys will get made if we're not in animation mode, and you can see that it snaps back to the standard pose position when we go back into setup mode. So those are the two major modes of cat and how to kind of get in and out them and navigate around. If you want to do anything with animation, you want to go to the motion panel, and if you want to do anything locally to the bones, like maybe add some more detail or decide if this is a left or right arm, then you'll go to the modify panel, selecting either any one of the bones, which have different parameters all to themselves, or the cat parent itself. Lastly, there'll be one more place that you'll find cat in the 3ds Max UI, and that is probably the most obvious place up here in the menu system. You can see that a cat menu gets added, and it has some different utilities for possibly more advanced functions of cat, capturing animation, mixing poses, resizing your rig, and applying different max IK systems to the cat rig itself, such as spline IK and other IK. So that's most of the places that you'll find cat in the 3ds Max UI, and how to access the different portions of being in setup mode or adjusting parameters for your rig or being in animation mode.